Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with Gran Turismo 7 and the Toyota Cup highlights at Nürburgring GP in the Super Formula car. So I was in top split for this with the best drivers in Europe. This is going to be extremely difficult, especially with very little practice that we put in for this. So you can see going through the grid here, we've got some of the fastest drivers on the game. We've got Quentin at the front. We've got Aphelion, we've got Baptist in this lobby, we've got Lopez in this lobby. It's just an absolutely stacked lobby of drivers. We've got Giorgio in there. So this is going to be incredibly difficult considering we've done no practice really. We did a very limited run in the wet conditions, no dry run in practice really at all. So we got Favaris there as well at the back there, another very fast driver. You can see very good drivers all the way through the field, and myself in P11, which was actually not too bad. We were within 1 second in wet conditions. So traction control on 1. Now, unfortunately, they're not full start checks at the moment in a lot of these races, which I find very strange. I do think that we should be doing full start checks in the esports competitions, but not a very good start there. You can see got away really poorly, lost 2 positions off the line. Decided to try and hang it round the outside here to try and gain some positions. We see we gained some back. However, we're now on the outside and we're squeezed in a bit here, so we're going to take it nice and easy. You can see visibility absolutely awful through, and I do love that on Gran Turismo. Look how you can hardly see much going on. We're going into the braking zone, not much visibility at all, and there's a car spawn there, chaos going off everywhere, and this is what it's all about in the wet weather racing. We got kind of sandwiched in between 2 cars there and lost out massively as couldn't get on the power, and now we're down to P13. So a little bit of lost time there. However, in the braking zone, we just don't take the wetness into account. 2 other cars do the exact same thing as myself. However, we don't do it as bad. And yeah, down to P13 again. So we gained 2 positions, but we lost a few positions again there. So yeah, the conditions catching people out. You can see it, the wet weather there. We're on intermediate conditions. And into the braking zone, just no grip at all. Braked far too late. And again, we're off the track. So a pretty much disastrous start to this race. You can see we're actually going to be about 9 seconds behind the leader, and we're not even into halfway through lap 1. So pretty awful start to the race for myself here. Lost a lot of time there on this opening lap, and yeah, this is frustrating because if we would have got a good start, we could have been all the way up to about P8 here with the amount of people that have made mistakes. But unfortunately, we're down in P15, and we've just got to try and get the car to grip on this track. It's so difficult with a car like this to find traction. Now obviously we're not using traction control because traction control will slow you down in these conditions, and you've just got to try and get used to the grip and figure it out yourself. So working through here, see into the final corner, and we're about to complete our first lap, and we're in P15. We're not last though. We've got Haku behind us there in P16. As we come through in the final corner, we got Quentin has actually spun on the final corner. Maybe there was an incident with another driver, I'm not too sure there, but he's spun on the final corner and he's all the way down into P16 now. So at least we're not last at this stage, as we're managing to get to grips with it a little bit here now. And we've got 2 drivers going side by side through this corner, and another driver completely misjudged the braking a little bit there and goes a bit wide, and there's a lot of chaos going on in front of us, and another car has spun and is off into the barrier. So that's countless mistakes being made so far in this race, as another car just misjudges the grip again, and Corned Beef Pasty goes off into the gravel. I'm not sure if there might have been a little bit of contact there with the Prima driver. It possibly was a tiny bit of contact there, and he's just understeered off once the contact took place. But we're up to P12, so absolutely chaotic start. We've been P10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all in the space of 1 lap, and we're down to P12 now. Just 1 position where we started though. We started P11, so not too bad actually considering all that's gone on, but we're starting to find a bit of a rhythm now. We're going to get the run on this Prima driver here now. He's going to go for a move on Damien, which was a bit optimistic there, but however I'm going to see if I can squeeze through that gap as well. However, not much Damien could do there. There was not really much space for him to go into, and we just end up getting pushed off the track, which kind of our own fault I think there. We went for a gap, didn't work out. It could have worked out and we might have gained the position, but nothing really Damien could do there. And unfortunately, we're all the way back down to P15, and we're 12, nearly 13 seconds behind the leader after 2 laps. So bit of a disaster start to this race, I have to say. And at this stage, it was getting quite frustrating. We needed to find that rhythm and just try and get going. You can see cars battling in front of us, but we're not going to give up at this stage, because in this race, anything can happen. You can gain positions with people making mistakes. The weather's going to dry out. We could see that. We knew that from the radar. It's going to keep getting dry. You can see it on the telemetry. The track is starting to dry out. It's not at dry weather condition yet. Basically, when that bar goes to the bottom bar, that's when the soft tyres are going to start working. So we're going to go for a move on corned beef pasty here, up the inside, and we managed to make that position and up into P14. So we're now behind Quentin, try and get a good exit off the corner. And yeah, you can see using a bit of our overtake button, which basically just puts a bit more fuel into the engine and makes your car a little bit faster, just to get up that position and try and follow Quentin. Now we know that Quentin's going to be very, very fast, so if he can make his way through the field and we can follow him, that would be really, really good. So yeah, at the moment you can see Haku on the fastest lap of the race. Now the thing is, every lap is going to get faster and faster and faster because the track's going to keep drying out. We're going to skip to lap 6 now. You can see we're now down into the 45s. We're only 3 tenths off the fastest lap of the race at this point. We're actually driving really, really well. You can see 2 drivers in front of us, Haku and Quentin, off into the pit lane. So they're going for a very early stop, trying to risk it on the soft tyres. Now this can pay off if you really do drive well. However, there is a very big risk of doing that you can touch a wet spot on the track, spin the car, and you're going to lose way more than you'll ever have gained. So I'm deciding to play it quite safe here and stay out on the track on the intermediate tyres and just hope that we'll wait until the track's a little bit more dry before we go for our pit stop. Now there was some drivers that were going to go for a no stop in this race also, which could work, but they were going to suffer massively with the intermediates at the end when the track was drying out. But you can see we're up into P12, we've got people that have pitted, so technically we're not actually in P12. So we're going to skip ahead to lap 7 now, and we can see we managed to catch right back up behind Damien here. We're driving quite well. Damien getting all out of shape there. He's going to go for a pit stop and go and put some soft tyres on. Again, I could have pitted them, but with him pitting that lap, I decided let's just stay out and go for one more lap. Let's wait until the track is a lot more safe before going for our stop. You can see we're still going faster and we're doing okay lap time. So we've done a 43.8 there, and yeah, it seems like the track is still giving okay grip to the intermediates because it's not fully dry yet. You can see the wetness is still on the track, and if you go slightly offline, there is still a big risk that you could spin. So playing it quite safe and conservative here. We're not taking big risks. We're just going to stay out on the intermediates and then wait until the moment it's right. Now we're actually managing to catch up to Vavaris here. You can see it on the delta there. We're 3.7 seconds behind him, and we're going to start really pushing on this lap to try and get a good lap in. We're going to use some of our boost up because I want to try and get a good in lap before we pit. You can see we go through purple sector there. Obviously the track is getting drier and drier though, so that purple sector is kind of a little bit of a lie because the cars further up have got slightly wetter conditions when they're coming to each corner. So obviously with the way that the time is speeded up on this game, the track dries out very, very quickly. And also they're obviously drying the track out as they go through, I think. But, well, we say that we're not 100% sure whether Gran Turismo really does that. We think it's a predetermined line that dries out on this game. So through the middle sector, again, we're purple on that sector. And you can see we've actually caught up to Favaris by 1.3 seconds on this lap. I think he had a big error in one of the corners there and lost a massive amount of time. Possibly went into the gravel and lost quite a bit there as we go into the gravel, but just about managed to keep it on the track as we work our way down into the final chicane. Now we're going to go for a pit stop this lap. It's a risky strategy. We could have stayed out here possibly. The tyre wear doesn't look massively bad on the rears, although that is going to get worse as the track dries out. So I thought we're going to go for the safe strategy again. We're going to pit, put some soft tyres on and play it ultra safe. You can see in the pit lane though, the track is going to be incredibly slippery. So on the exit, you're going to have to be very, very careful. So into the pits, fresh set of soft tyres on, and traction control on 1 for the exit. You can see here, because look at the track, it's a lot more wet on the exit. And into the braking zone, Antonio goes through there, up into P9, and we're out the pits in P10, which actually isn't too bad, considering you see Quentin has managed to get a massive undercut with his early pit stop. He's obviously managed to drive the track extremely well in these mixture conditions. He's obviously found that dry line and really shot off into the distance. You can see a 1:40.1. He's been absolutely flying around the track in them conditions. So again, we're going to skip a little bit further on to the end of lap 9, and we come through the final corner, and Quentin, I think it is here, has managed to spin his car near the finishing line. My guess is he's got on the power really aggressively, maybe got near the grass onto a wet spot, and bang, he's off the track. So that is one of the risks of running these dry tyres in these conditions. You go off the line, and you can see there, as we hit the curb, we got a bit of a wet spot there, and it nearly spun the car. So you have to be incredibly cautious and careful, and I was possibly being a bit too cautious at the moment, but I thought I'd rather get to the finish and without crashing, then making a mistake and losing 20 seconds. So you can see, taking no risk with the edge of the track, just trying to keep it on this dry line, keep it away from the wet spots. We've got Devil catching us up massively behind. We're in P8 at the moment, which would be quite a solid finishing position from where we started and considering the lobby that we're in. But we got Devil flying through here. He was absolutely flying in these type of conditions, just like Quentin was. You can see he's got the fastest lap of the race so far. He's really on one there, 39.5. Our pace is just nowhere near that at the moment. We're just trying to gradually find where the grip is, because this is our first lap, obviously, trying to figure out where to drive it, where we can push, and we're going to come into the braking zone here. He's going to have a little look there, possibly. No, he's not going to go for a move here because he's not close enough. And then into this final corner, we're going to try and get a good exit off here. We managed to do that corner quite well. He's got a lot of dirty air from us there. And now we're going to be going into the chicane. You can see we're 3 seconds up on this lap, so we're not on a terrible lap. We're on about a 140. And then into the braking zone, you can see just braking short of the 100 board, and then through the chicane. And now we're going into the final corner. We got Devil right behind us now, though. He's going to be putting us under pressure. So into the final corner, trying to get a good exit off here. You can see he's right behind us. You can see the spray still coming up. I don't think there'd be that much spray on the dry line, because if there was, I think these tyres probably wouldn't be working. But yeah, maybe a little bit of a graphical fault there on the game, because I don't think it should be doing that when you're on the dry line. But yeah, you can see Devil there. Absolutely brilliant move by Devil. He goes wide, keeps the dry line, gets really good traction off the tyres. And I didn't really fight that too much because it really wasn't worth it. I could see how fast Devil was. He was pushing to the absolute limits of what this like half dry, half wet conditions would give us. So yeah, we just let him go. We just concentrate on our own race. We're down to P9. We've got Quentin 4 seconds behind us, who is also pushing them limits. We saw that he was doing it before. And I hadn't really practiced these conditions. This was the type of conditions that if you practiced a lot for this race, you probably would have been able to, you know, get some good practice in and figure out how hard you can push. However, Devil there, pushing too hard onto the curb, spins the car, gets probably a wet spot on the tyre, and that is him off into the barrier and me back up to P8. So this is, again, the advantage of just taking it a little bit more cautious and driving quite sensibly. You can see there that, you know, one little mistake and you're in the wall without anything you can do. You can see Quentin gaining behind us. He's 2.5 seconds behind us. We've got 1 lap to go, and we're actually starting to catch up to Corned Beef Pasty, who hasn't pitted. He's still on the intermediate tyres, and them tyres are going to be so much slower than these soft tyres in dry condition. You can see on that exit alone, we gained 0.8 of a second. So can we manage to get ourselves back up into P7 before the end of this race? This is actually going to be quite an intense end, because we've got to catch Corned Beef Pasty up, and we've got Quentin absolutely hunting us down, pushing the limits of what these half dry, half wet conditions can give. You can see he's gaining so much on us because I'm just not pushing it. You can see he's into 1 minute 36, Quentin's. That's an incredible lap, absolutely pushing the limits of what that car can do. I'm only in the 39s, yeah, around that area at the moment, just trying to make sure we get to the finishing line. You can see Corned Beef Pasty, no grip at all. We're 6 tenths up though on this lap, so we're trying to make sure that we don't get caught up by Quentin. So pushing a little bit more aggressive through here. We managed to get ourselves up into P7, but Quentin right behind us there, 1.1 seconds behind. However, he is going to get a bit of dirty air behind us now. So there's an issue there though. It looks like Quentin's maybe had a bit of an issue with Corned Beef Pasty, or lost a bit of time on the exit somehow, because he's just dropped back behind Corned Beef Pasty. And yeah, not sure what happened. So he's 3 seconds behind. We just need to take this quite sensibly through here now and try and get it to the finishing line, because I'm guessing there was some sort of crash with Quentin there and he's out of it. So we don't need to panic about that. But we are catching back up to Favara. So you can see there, the gap is coming down. We are really closing in. 1 more lap of this, and I think we would have easily have had them on them intermediate tyres. But I'm sure if there would have been 1 more lap, they would have actually pitted and put softs on themselves. So into the chicane, and you can just see how much faster these soft tyres are. We gain nearly a whole second gained on 1 chicane, then into the final corner, and we're going to finish this race just pretty much the same distance behind to Favaris that we was when we pitted, actually a little bit closer. So we actually gained by that strategy and finish in P7. So not a bad race, quite fun, entertaining race. These races are always the best on Gran Turismo 7 in my view, when you've got changeable conditions. I absolutely love this game when it's like this. So really fun racing, and a P7, and actually that is actually pretty decent points because it's in top split with the highest ranked drivers on the game. We come away with 330 points, I think it is there, 331 points from a race that we didn't really put much practice into. So 100% happy with that, and we took them points. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you for more live content and videos in the future. Bye everyone.